Alright, let's see. Is my audio going through properly? Looks like it is. How's it going, everybody? Oh, Quan, how's it going? I did not put in face reveal anywhere in there. Quan. I like the ominous music. It adds for that extra Halloween vibe. Only one more week until the spookiest month. It's crazy because last year, it's weird to think about that. Last year we were just getting started with like the current arc that's in Jujutsu Kaisen. As you wouldn't think it's been, that long for this arc, because the series generally doesn't have that long of arcs. I mean, in general, like the other ones have all been pretty short. This is definitely the longest one, so I've been pretty hyped on that. Really enjoying that. Obviously, like it's crazy to think that it's been about a year. Like a year ago today, like it was like they were still in the fight between Mahito and Mekamaru. Like, jeez. Hey, what's up, Lord Hendrickson? How's it going? Guillotine, how are you? Bracel Von Ariman, how you feeling, dude? Staying safe? Yeah, of course. I'm just comfortable, nice October day. Always keep safe, dude. Mayor in our town passed away because of virus. Oh, wait. Damn, that sucks, dude. I always find it BS how a one-armed Asta midget is beating... Also, yeah, but you gotta look at the context. You gotta look at exactly... What is it that the two of these characters going at each other is it going to be like? Because the anti-magic devil is not like the anti-magic devil. Obviously, he is anti-magic. The way that he's built is to counteract magic wielding people. Asta is both more skilled with a sword and he's physically strong. The thing that it'll come down to is Asta going to be able to keep up with him? Like, is his body going to be able to take up the damage? Because he doesn't have stuff like his black form or any of those enhancements. He's just going off of his base ki and normal stats. So, I still think the fight is going to come down to it being a more character-like solution and resolution, not like Asta straight up beating him. I think it's going to come down to something more personal. But, I mean, like I said, it does make sense that Asta doesn't have to deal with the big main thing that, like, everybody else would have fighting the anti-magic devil. The fighting Libe is, he's not going to get his abilities canceled out. So, I mean, that alone is very useful for Asta. I didn't really even think about that when like the fight initially started, just because I don't think it's something that we're probably gonna see again, at least not for a long time. What's up, Jaheim Ames? Jaheim Williams, how's it going, man? Egan, how's it going, man? How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good so far. I'm thinking still about getting some new like artwork done, like a commission for like a character for the channel, like probably just my little avatar, but like done in like a higher quality. I was thinking about doing that maybe sometime early next year. Asta is Libe's natural weakness. Yeah, he doesn't have a way to deal with his with Asta's just superior swordsmanship and ki sensing. He could read him completely super easy, but he doesn't have like his biggest thing. The biggest thing about Libe is anti-magic. Asta, whatever, doesn't do anything to him. It's like how, Zagrid had the one spell where it summoned all the, like, weird leeches from the underworld. Like, anybody regularly dealing with that, it's like, okay, this giant mass of magic burning and absorbing, like, material doesn't do anything to Asta. That's just kind of the general way that he's going to come out on top on. Where other people are specifically affected by magic. But demons are physically... He's physically strong, but the thing is that Asta has technique and his ki sensing. And like the way that he's combining them is he's going for quick like dodges and counters to move in for an attack. He's not clashing with them regularly. Like at any point we see his sword, like the two of their swords meet up, Asta's getting overpowered. Asta's being smarter about it. He's being more nimble and more just like quick-witted. Would it be an Ellen tier story version of Fairy Tail Guild? I hope not. I'm alright with it if so, because obviously like what we've seen with the way that different realms are. But I'm hoping it's more like an existence like the Celestial Spirit realm, where it's another dimension, but it's not an alternate universe. Because I don't really want to see, oh, it's the same characters put from a different position. Because we already had that. I really want to have like a full set of brand new characters across the board. I want Celine's minions all to have their own designs and their own kind of like styles of fighting and stuff. I'm not opposed, again, if we end up getting L-tier versions of the characters, but I would prefer not to get L-tier versions of the characters. Miss Juvena for Fairy Nail. I don't really miss any of the Fairy Nail people. Did you ever notice the guild picture where Lucy is describing guilds in chapter 1 as magic, right? There, yes, the designs of the people look suspiciously like how LF Seria is designed. And also, I gotta do a video on LF Seria. I was talking to some guys earlier. The whole thing that Faris isn't the White Wizard, again, opens up a brand new position for either an older character or a brand new character. And that is a faction we haven't seen at all, and that is Rebellious. Who is old enough to be the White Wizard? 100-something years on both sides. LF Seria, potentially. And, look at every single adversary group that's been a 100-year quest. Dragon Gods, all dragon-based. Diablos, dragon-based. If Rebellious and the White Wizard are led by a Dragon Slayer, again, that'll be really cool. And it's all different kinds. It'd be really neat to see. I really want to see more for the White Wizard storyline. Because it's such a weird off-on-the-side one. It hasn't been the push for a while, but it's still something that clearly is going to be a thing if Faris is not actually the White Witch, or the White Wizard rather. Not just the character that's got the same banner. Yeah, they were the start. That's why it was all the way back showing guilds at the beginning. That's why LF Seria has that outfit. They are the very first of the registered guilds. He started all that. It was a big deal for everything. That was not long after the Caravan Trade Wars with Mavis. I think it was after this. I can't remember if it was after the second or the third one when they established the official guilds and they start having rules and everything. Let's see. Guild Arts versus Might Guy. Guild Arts scales higher, has hacks, dangerous as hell close range. Might Guy's powerful, but he's only got the full 8 gates, and after that he's dead. And all it's gonna take is to get disassembled before he even gets close to that. He literally cannot just do it anyway. So he's got to go through each of the small steps, and Guild Arts is gonna overpower him before he even gets close. Diablos may have a character. Diablos may have a water dragon ear to activate Aqua Era and to enter L-tier. I don't think that they're gonna have something as simple as a water dragon slayer, because all of the members of Diablos have been weird. All of their types have been very strange, like Blade, Corpse, Clinging. They've all been very weird. So it would have to be some form of weird variation. I feel like it would just be straight up a Dimension Dragon or a Spatial Dragon Slayer or something. I don't think that there will be any straightforward Dragon Slayers inside of Diablos. They've all been way broken away from traditional elements. White Wizard will probably be a new character. I honestly think it's LF Seria at this point, because LF Seria is extremely suspicious to me from the go. He's always been somebody that I've had, suspicions of. I like how the Edenzer crew and the Fairy Tale crew may always get stronger, like Shiki possibly learning gravitic technique for and getting. Yeah, there's always a journey. The characters aren't stopping just because they've beaten some of the bad guys. There's bigger threats out there. They always got to keep moving forward. L-tier is the star memory. It makes perfect sense. Celine's powers. I don't think so, because Fairy Tale has its stellar memory. Stellar memory is it's literally just a giant weird memory system. It's a big magical dimensional entity kind of almost thing. Celine's stuff with the moon is already part of stuff we've seen in Fairy Tale. We already know that there's dispelling aspects to the moon. We already know just how it actually kind of gathers the moonlight, and we know that the moon itself has a very large quantity of magic in the world. How am I doing? I'm doing all right. Did you know that English translate? Do you know anywhere with English? No, I don't know her stuff with the novels. I've read some of the novel stuff, but it's all like old, like Twitter and stuff translations, like nothing official. And it's all big, like giant text walls. That says English is Aquarius, Wendy, and Wendy and Urza have Irene. I don't know. Wendy has stuff with Irene. Urza has stuff with Jalal. Like, I know people want to see Urza do stuff with Irene. I prefer it with Wendy. Urza has her own kind of things going on. Hers is going to be to fight with Jalal. What is Gray's goal? Gray's goal on Earth Quest is to get strong so he could feel strong enough to protect Juvia. We've known this for a while. We knew that going into the Alderaan battle, like into Drasil. He does have something to do. We already know he does. We just don't have anything like if the idea of like what, power-ups, or do you mean goals? Because the only person right now that has some big up-and-coming thing is Natsu in terms of his like Aetherius Dragon Force. Everybody else just general increasing. But if you mean like goals and activities, we know what Gray's doing. I'm interested in by transcendental magic worlds and sort. Yeah, it's like a god world. I've talked about this a little bit. And it looks like I'm right on the whole thing where I talked about how I think the Exceed are from Elantir. The way that they have, this ability they were able to use in Daedalus that nobody else could. The way that they're kind of just formatted in general. The way that they're kind of like have the angelic wings. And clearly at some have had points of having magic to cross through dimensions. If they originate from Elantir, I think their whole thing is they're like the angels almost of the fairy tale world. And it would make sense of why the Exceed that went over to Daedalus and got stuck in Daedalus would have that kind of like idea of making themselves depicted as gods. That way Elantir, or that way the Daedalus people would, fall for it and would explain the arc itself, like going into that arc rather. Let's see. Oh, I accidentally skipped to the bottom. Hang on a second. Natsu planetary after all, right? Natsu's a big dude. Well, no, so Alderaan wasn't at full power. We know that after each God Seed was defeated, he lost a little bit of his power because the large sum of his power has to do with when it split between each of the God Seeds. And Natsu beat him within the time point, like the time frame where Alderaan was weakened and he was still getting ready to grow back the God Seeds. So he's still very powerful because like even a weakened Alderaan has to be like up there with someone like Irene or August. Even the very like weakened version of him should still be somewhere way high up. Natsu beating him though is still really big, obviously. Sure, from Eden Zero might be an ace character. I don't think so. With the idea of that there's a Demon King code means that there's going to be more of them. I don't think it's just going to be the two. I think there's going to be more of them. And Mishima has been doing stuff with the whole, the Demon King and whatnot. And you already have Ziggy back, who also has the same thing. I think there's going to be 6 total. And it's going to be like, you have the Erasion Sace Interstellar, Erasion Sace Galactica, and then the 6 Demon King codes. And with a bunch of demon and devil stuff, 666. I mean, I think Mishima is setting this up right now. And that's why he would have the Erasion Sace Interstellar be called what they are. So he could have 3 factions of the 6. You have the 6 up-and-comers, like these Demon King people. You have the 6 of the military, and then you have the 6 of these renowned high-level criminals. I'm just worried about the Chinese Stars being a hijack by Z. I think it's a virus. And I don't think any of them are going to get killed the way. What are the mangas you planning on posting on your channel? Let me think. I don't know. There's one that I want to get caught up on called the Iron Hero. It's like this weird mechanical world style thing. I just haven't got caught up with it in a while. I've been wanting to. And then I want to do more Chainsaw Man videos. And I haven't done any Black Clover videos in a while besides like general chapter reviews and stuff. But I have a couple planned. I don't think there's really any new series other than that one that I've been thinking about just kind of adding, at the moment at least. How to be mod? I don't know. Sometimes I just pick somebody to be a mod. Natsu got Savage Dragonfire and the ability to combine different Dragonfires. Since you combine Star Justice, Urza got Bellion Sword, or Ice Devil Sword, and Dragon Slayer. when he got Irene. Do you mean like Gray's like increased power levels? Because Gray's just gonna improve his demon slaying abilities. Like we already saw in this arc of him just using the Demon Slayer like physical boost, and I don't think it's just gonna be left there. Gray's gonna keep getting stronger. It'd be really weird to have him give like present his goals going into all this and then not doing anything with them. We haven't even seen like Gray go that like deep down the hole of like his devil slaying abilities, because we know that creeping black aura on him, that like devil power, it's like the equivalent of Dragon Force. So the further Gray goes for the more demonic he's going to end up becoming. He has something available. He just hasn't gone far enough down there yet. Only Gray ain't gonna power. I mean, so they're they're revealing new things. It's not necessarily a power-up. It's closer to an upgrade. A power-up would be something that they kind of just pop brand new, versus stuff they've had, they just hadn't shown it yet. Like, it's like the difference between Natsu having Fire Dragon King mode and when Natsu got Dragon Force, like the first 2 times, and Lightning Flame Dragon mode when, they're on Sirius Island. It has to do with in the different kind of situations of, oh, did they just get them due to events that happened, versus did they already have these during, a point of time skip that they obtained them. Obviously, Wendy's would constitute as that almost kind of a power-up. It was more of like a, I guess you could kind of see it like when I had that Irene percent, but now it's more like just getting training. Gray's, we just don't know yet. I think Gray's is going to be the progress of his Ice Demon abilities. I think when we saw him fight against the Thunder Legion with no ice, just his physical devil powers, I think that was just the start of it. And at least that's what I believe right now. We still have a ways to go in this arc. Maybe Elentier is where it'll really kind of kickstart Gray getting it, because that being the equivalent of Dragon Force for Devil Slayers means it's a big deal. And obviously what we've seen it do, like what we saw, it was able to neutralize Memento Mori, so Natsu and Gray didn't get erased. Like, it's definitely a considerable boost, and it's very capable. Did you watch Iron Nancy's video about his problem with Gray? No. If his problem with Gray is Gray just hasn't gotten anything fancy or new yet, it doesn't matter. It's not over. We're 2 Dragon Gods in, and we haven't done anything with the large scale of Diablos, Eleftheria, or Rebellious. Like, we're still very early into the 100 Years quest. Like, that's what people fail to really realize right now. Like, the whole first portion, like with Mercephobia, for the most part, it was an introduction into what was going on, and kind of just a, bringing stuff back in, like, people back into the series after, the time that it was between the end of original run and 100 Years Quest startup. And then we got into the Alderaan arc, which, that portion, we got to see characters, like, do some bunch of new stuff. It was like, okay, this is now where we're going to demonstrate our progress within, the last year. We're still really early. That's what people fail to really think about. Again, we haven't done anything with Rebellious. Eleftheria, still suspicious. Diablos, Ignia, Viernes, Celine. Who knows if there's anything beyond that we don't know about that'll pop up. Like, people need to calm down when it comes to, like, oh, my problem with, like, Gray. It's like, Gray already gave us some really big character development and some big goals literally before the most recent arc. Like, before we even got into stuff with Alderaan, we got, like, 2 chapters of Gray. Like, well, it's like a chapter and a half of like, dedicated Gray material. That was what was so unexpected about that chapter. It's like the fairy nail stuff. It's like, okay, cool, we got some comedy, we got some cooldown. That was just kind of like, whatever. It was just some comfort and laughs in between arcs. And then we randomly got one of a big Gray character development chapter. Like, it's been weird to me seeing anybody complain about Gray from my point of view, because, like I said, we have a lot left to go. We got to see aspects of Gray, like in this arc, that were completely surprising. What's up, Delane? Imagine Zeref's reaction to Nasha. I'd probably be pretty happy. Rax, you ever watched the Fairy Tale retrospective by Just Stop? I don't know who that is. Who's Just Stop? I don't think I've ever heard of him, but no, I haven't watched that. You have 2 to 3 hour free time for free to watch Fairy Tale. No. Oh, I think I know who that is. No, I don't know if I want to watch that if it's that long. Maybe at some point I'll think about it. Alderaan says himself that Natsu could burn the world. Yeah, he's dangerous. Natsu is, still at the end of the day, a apocalyptic demon that was trained by the Fire Dragon King. He's dangerous. Like, Natsu is a dangerous person. And we've already seen, like, when we saw him fight against Merphobia, that he was not all the way in control. Like, his power still has a way to go. Who do you think will fight Suzaku this arc? I really want it to be Sting and Rogue. I don't know how it would happen, but I really want it to be Sting and Rogue. It would be such an amazing reason to get Rogue to finally undraw his sword. That would be really cool if so. And then you have, like, I keep saying if so. There's always, there's times in videos where I'll, like, stick onto saying a specific thing and repeat it. And I don't realize it until it weighs in, but I usually realize it. But could you imagine if it was Suzaku versus Sting and Rogue? Rogue finally pulls out his damn sword. And then you have him essentially, like, fighting Suzaku. He can't keep up with him, but, like, Sting is doing support in the back by using, like, Holy Ray and stuff. And just kind of, like, giving him help, like, aided from the back row. That'd be really cool. I don't think it will be, but if it is, I mean, otherwise it'll be Urza. Because, like, I'm perfectly fine with it being Urza. The reason I don't actually really want it to be Urza, and I'd rather be Sting and Rogue, is because Suzaku is that kind of old-style, vagabond, Japanese sword fighter-looking guy. It'd be too easy for Urza to go into her clear heart armor and fight her that way. And I like the armor. I know what it does. Like, a lot of people don't really remember exactly what it does. Like, she has clear heart armor, increases attack power and speed, and it abandons any additional boost to any other stat. And then she has Yodo Betty Zakura, which does essentially the same thing. So it's just a massive all-in, like, in attack set. And it's cool. I do like it. It's when Urza's kind of backed into her corner. It's a last-ditch effort. She has no means to fight anymore other than do this. But she has so many wins with that set, and she has so many big moments with that already. I would prefer it to be her, I'd prefer it to be Sting and Rogue. Also, just really quick, I'd really appreciate if people would thumbs up the stream, you know, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if they haven't, and just during this quick shill, since I've already decided for this, anybody, if they would want to, donate it through either Super Chat, or I think there's that weird emoji one, or like the Streamlabs, but they are appreciated, not required. I always just want to emphasize that. Just gotta have at least like a good shill moment or two every stream. Let's see. Yeah, I really hope it's Sting and Rogue. Because I want him to be in the story somehow. Joel is a disappointment. Hunter's quest is a poor mission. It makes no sense because he was after the fake white wizard. What do you mean? So, first off, Jalal hasn't gotten to do a whole lot in 100 Years Quest. He was in the background for pretty much all of the Merphobia stuff. There wasn't a point where he was actually going to fight, except for maybe when he was going to fight Laxus. But why would he fight Laxus? Like, there could be a reason why, if Laxus instigated a fight, I believe it. I don't think Jalal attacking Laxus to get to Toka would have made sense. Toka and Faris, I don't think it would have made sense for him to do that, because Jalal was trying to be a good person. He's been on that pathway. He only goes after bad people. And not only is Laxus not a bad guy anymore, they both have these redemption story arcs, but he's not going to just throw hands with a member of Urza's guild because he wants to get to her. He's not going to do that. Fairy Tail is like the closest spot for allies that he has. Plus Natsu's in there. He's been on good terms with Natsu since Nirvana. So, like, during that, he was mostly in the background. And then, yeah, he was in the pursuit of the White Wizard, who was Faris. Faris absorbed their magic and took them over and brought them into where they are now. They were completely in the back, like, between that point. Then they, they were fighting members of the fairy tale controlled by Faris. And with Jalal and Urza, we got, like, shipping and comedy stuff, because Jalal wasn't going to be her fight that arc. Jalal got a big moment with Gears. Jalal's moment with, not Gears. No, it was Gears, sorry. Jalal's moment with Gears was huge. That was a huge character moment. That was a massive character moment. Like, Jalal finally, like, putting behind him the whole stuff with Sieg and everything, the Tower of Heaven. That happened, like, that arc happened in what, like, 2007? That was a huge moment. Like, absolutely crazy. I think he was a disappointment. He doesn't have to have a badass fight every 10 minutes to be a good character. That was a massive character development moment. It was a huge step forward for him. Urza versus Suzaku. That's the obvious one, just because obviously swords. I don't want it to be Urza, though. I want Urza to have, like, a fight either with... I want her matches to be with Celine, to be perfectly honest. I want hers to be with Celine. I want Jalal to be with her. I don't want Jalal to be the one to fight Suzaku. I know, I've been slacking a little bit on Black Clover. There's a video that I want to do, I have planned, and I'm going to do the prediction video a lot earlier. I completely forgot to do it on Tuesday, and then I was like, well, I'll just... Wednesday's usually when chapter news comes out, like spoilers, but I forgot that the people providing the spoilers aren't doing it nearly as early anymore to respect the Japanese side of the fan base. And I'm perfectly okay with that, and it gives me more room to do the prediction videos and any videos for Black Clover going up until like the content of the next chapter. But I do have a video planned. I do have something planned. I want to do it. It's a very easy video. I just haven't set it up yet. Like, it's nothing crazy. It's just like a, hey, here's a theory on what's to come in the Spade War. So I'll get to that at some point. Or it needs a proper match with Kyria. The thing is right now is if Kyria and Urza fight, it's obvious that to even Kyria that Urza is stronger than she is. Because Kyria's big thing in their fight was that she could hypnotize her, but she can't do that anymore. Because Urza, saw through it. She figured it out, and then now she knows all she has to do is keep her real eye closed and keep her artificial eye open, and then bam, it's not gonna affect her. Kyria will enter Dragon Force if next time her and Urza really have a match. Because the only other way it wouldn't be in the next one if she tries to fight Urza again, but Urza is going to dominate her, and Kyria is going to be put in a position where she has to either use Dragon Force, or the next time that she attempts to fight her, she will have to do it from, like, the start. Like, she's not in a good spot against Urza, somebody who we just saw was actually, when fighting seriously, not that far below Laxus. And Kyria got completely bodied by Laxus. The only reason that Urza had such a troubling time with Kyria the first time is because Urza didn't take her too seriously at the start, and then got hypnotized. Like, Urza is too much for Kyria right now. That's one of the reasons I think it'll make more sense if it is Suzaku. If it's Suzaku, I'd actually really like it if Kyria teams up with him, and you have kind of like some form of like, samurai and sword dragon matchup. I think it's kind of funny and cool that Mishima likes to rescue the Racian names from Rave Master Eden's Hero. I've always really liked that about him, that he'll have these references from series to series, because it makes reading his collectives of work have more of a payoff than just like reading one. If you read this one and then going to this one, you're going to understand this reference that happens here. And it makes his collective universe, like his collective multiverse, rather, of series, all kind of fit well into each other as both being stuff that you don't have to read each of them. You can just read one, but reading multiple of them just enhances it a good amount. Faris kidnapped Toka, stole magic from the guild, made them fight each other, and almost got Levy's kids killed. Natsu was, but yeah, I know. She's done a lot of bad stuff. It's really going to come down to how she talks to them about Celine and Elentier's situation. Because think about, like, the people of Edelus did a lot of bad stuff too and threatened the guild and everybody in it.
but they were just listening to their king. They were kind of panicking about what was happening in their world. You have, like, they were able to kind of see from their perspective. It's not like, oh yeah, we're on a good system now. The whole set between them was years in time, and I can see why after a long time and just becoming better people would be like, okay, sure. And then you have to think it out again from their perspective. And with Faris, I feel like Celine is gonna she's gonna have such a story that you're gonna be like, okay, I can kind of get why you did this. Because it seems like she was tricked on top of that. Like, she probably didn't think she was doing that bad of stuff. Like, she was doing something good and important. We just need to find out what it is, like, she was told and her situation. Because it seems like she is actually good, and she just was doing all this for an ulterior, or a better thing in her from her perspective. It's all going to depend. We just need to get to it. Hopefully in the next chapter, we'll get information on both her story and on Celine. I'm very excited for that. I can't wait. I really want to find more about Celine. I really like Celine's design and her character. So this holds a lot of high potential in the next up-and-coming ones. As I love big lore chapters. When we have big, like, strong story, expansive stuff. I think everybody does, and we've had a lot of those really good ones in 100 Years Quest, and I can't wait to see where it is. Because already, I think that Celine being part, like, pretty much the reason that Edalus arc exists, adds extra content to her character, but also makes the Edalus arc better, in my opinion. Because there's more of a reason to it, rather than just happening. And all of it really pretty much has happened. And you see all the stuff that's happened in the story in relation to it is tied to her character. Because the stuff with everything involving Edalus and the Animal Portal all happened because they didn't want to target Elantir for, you know, magic extraction because of Celine. There's a lot of really good stuff to come out of that. Mishima made Jalal misinformed that he's after the fake White Wizard. Well, that's what he thought. He got onto the trail. Faris was pretending to be the White Wizard. That's why he went to her. Like, he was just mistaken off of a copycat. Off of, you know, a dupe. Hi, Rax. You ever see a Jalal versus Laxus outcome? Yeah, I've been meaning to do that still. It's still on my list. I just have to write it out. I haven't forgotten about it. Because I do want to do some, I've been trying to figure out a plan to do kind of like versus video skid, but I think the streams will just be better. I've just been trying to think of a format and how I would do it in a way that doesn't just turn into screaming and like yelling, because it's like, do I want it to be just me? Do I want to have other people in the stream? Will it be the same people, or will it be like a couple people rotating out? There's some plans that I have for that. I don't want to jump right into it because I want it to be kind of like a ongoing thing, like once a week maybe, or maybe once every other week, or twice a month. I guess that is once every other week, but you know what I mean? Like every 2 weeks, maybe offsetting the chapters, so it's like every week will either be a chapter week or one of these versus battle weeks or something. Does Gray still rival Natsu? I think Gray, I would say that Gray is equal to Natsu up to Fire Dragon King mode, and then it comes down to like, Gray and Natsu have a higher end level, like but Gray's is in lost aspect right now, but he's not going to use that. It would have to be kind of like an out of character, do or die situation. I think the differing point for Natsu and Gray right now is Natsu's Dragon Force, because Gray has his Demon Slayer power like form, but it doesn't give nearly as big of a like a raw power increase as Dragon Force from what we've seen. It's still really good, but it's not nearly as tremendous as what Natsu has right now. Like, obviously, I think that by the end of it, Natsu is going to be stronger, but there's just, Gray hasn't gotten his new thing yet in this series, which that's what people were talking about earlier. I think it was being set up in the Alderaan arc. I think that the whole thing with the Thunder Legion is just going to be a step in that direction. And we'll probably see in Elantir, considering Gray's magic is going to be drastically increased while they're there. All of them will be. I'm really excited to see like this increased magic of what all the characters are going to be capable of doing. We're probably going to get a lot of really cool moments where you get to see them all just flex massively. Enough fair. Even though the Faris was the fake white wizard controlling role. Gilmer Solby was good. Yeah, I mean, it was really impressive. It's going to depend on how she was doing it. If it's something that she could just do, like, naturally, like her power, or if it is, something she got from Celine, like a temporary thing from Celine. I think that'll be more of a Celine feat. How many arcs do you think 100 Heroes Quest will be? Again, I don't know. Like, I think it'll be 7. My money's on 7. Because, think about it. 5 Dragon Gods, Diablos, and then, Rebellious. Because I think Elefsaria is going to be the White Wizard. And so we already have Merciful Obi and Alderaan. 3 more Dragon Gods. And then, maybe 7 is where I kind of, see it right now. It could be longer. I don't know. And then after that, maybe we get to, because I know Mishima's already said that he's thinking about Next Generation. I would like to have stuff with Ankh Saram before that. Or if Ankh Saram isn't a Next Generation thing. But I want Ankh Saram to be defeated by Natsu. Just because it has, to do with Zareth. And Natsu seems, he seems like he's he puts more blame on Ankh Saram, I think, now. Because he seems a bit, forgiving of Zareth. And acknowledges how terrible his curse was. I just haven't gotten to, any personal conversation with him further about it. I'm hoping we can get something like that from Natsu. You think when they're asking on Cis Galactica we haven't seen yet possibly connected to the Dark Ages? I would love to have a really old character. Oh, this guy's 5,000 years old or something. Or it's a robot. Oh, what if one of the Erasodon safes was this ancient robot? That'd actually be really cool. Put that on the list, Mishima. Joel and Laxus should be at the same level, honestly. I think Jalal is stronger, and I gotta do a video on why I think that is. We know 100 Heroes Quest will be at least 5 arcs. Oh yeah, that's at least 5, but we still have Diablos and we have Rebellious. Elantir the opposite. Wait, if Elantir have the opposite genders of the guild, I hope not. Gray, Natsu, and Urza lost to Scolion, Madbull, and Kyria, but Natsu and Gray got their revenge. One second fight, Gray was left or lost. Gray, yeah, but Gray didn't have a rematch. Gray hasn't had the rematch against him yet. And Scolion is clearly the strongest out of those 3. Kyria is all offense and she's got some hacks, but she has absolutely 0 solid durability feats. Madbull is all straight durability. He's got physical strength, but he seems so far to be very durable. Scolion seems like he's got high durability and high offense, and he's got hacks. He's definitely the strongest out of those 3. So Gray easily had the worst opponent in that trio, by far. Gray just hasn't gotten his thing yet, and Gray had to go against somebody who was extremely hacks. Compare the hacks that Madbull and Kyria have. Kyria's is hypnosis. Scolion turns, spells, and people. I almost said beings. I was trying to say people, but I was saying beings at the same time. But turn people into ash. He's broken. Gray just hasn't gotten his new thing yet. That's what I'm saying. We have his goals and motivation. We just haven't gotten a power up kind of increase for him yet. I think that's coming in the next arc. Hermo is worried about Shining Stars. Yeah, I think they're going to get infected. Well, I think that there's the possibility of them getting infected by whatever virus things that he's putting out. But I don't think they're going to have to get killed or anything or become enemies. But we'll see. Maybe a temporary, one chapter, infected opponent. But we'll see. Could be 6 arcs. Velsair is actually evil. Yeah, but I also think Diablos. Otherwise, I think Diablos will play into each arc. And then the 7th arc will be a secret boss. A secret extra Dragon God. Because there's the Dragon Gods, I think there'll be 7. Because right now there's only 5 of them. And they're based off the 7 Luminary Days. Natsu, I think, will be one of them. And I feel like there's going to be a secret boss at the end. And that's going to be a Dragon God. How can the Sabretooth Guild be involved? It depends. Again, it entirely depends on what we can find out. Can Jalal figure out how to get there? Or maybe there's just another character that knows how to cross dimensions with some crazy magic. It entirely depends on who they run into. Because one thing that I already said is I think that the Exceed are from Elantir, all of them. I think the Exceed originate from Elantir, and they probably have some form of connection to it. Again, it's a complete mystery right now. Who knows? Who knows at the moment? We could easily have Celine do something and pull them there. Who knows? Just got to be patient and wait. But if I had to pick an opponent for Suzaku, I'm saying the ones I would want to be Sting and Rogue. Otherwise, I'd pick Gray. If it wasn't Sting and Rogue. If it's just a main cast, I pick Gray. There you go. I don't want it to be Urza. I want Urza to have more of her fight tied to Celine. Or Celine's henchman, whoever works for her. I don't want her to fight Suzaku because I don't want to see the samurai fight. If it gets that, I'll say, okay, fine. I'm not against the idea. But if I got to pick, I would then pick Gray. I think Gray would be cool to have him in, seeing just him progress against the strongest opponent there. Otherwise, he's going to have his fight with Scorleon. Let's see. I would rather Suzaku fought by Saber-Tooth Dragons. Okay, good. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I want Sting and Rogue to show up. I would love that Sting and Rogue showed up. It just depends on how they get there. Is the sister stronger than Rebecca? I don't think so. I think... Actually, yeah. Then Rebecca, yeah. For a second, I thought I was thinking kind of like her level, and then I'm like, she's definitely the weakest out of the main cast. She's just the fastest. Sting and Rogue have already showed up on her. They had a cameo. They didn't do anything in the story. They literally showed up at 2 separate occasions where they just were standing around and they had new outfits. Who had the best redemption arc in your opinion? Gaja, Ultra, Laxus, or Jalal? I think either Laxus or Jalal in my opinion. I would probably go Jalal. I really like Jalal's. EOS Julia versus Doryu. I'd still go with Doryu. Doryu is actually still extremely powerful. I don't think that she could take him. She was able to beat what's that character's name? Jericho, I think. She was able to beat her because she figured out like a way to counteract her abilities by breathing fire directly into her body, which is hacks. And it counteracts one of her powers. So that was just kind of a very smart thing for her to do and very risky. When else there said, I'll grant you a bigger warrant. Yeah, he's suspicious. He's super sus. You think Wise will get a fight Orc or Mora? I don't think it'll be Orc. Because if it's Orc, then that'll be too easy for him. Because the guy is apparently half robot. Why's this machine maker? He's just going to disassemble him. Though that'd be badass, I would rather he fight Mora and Shiki fight Orc. But I'm perfectly okay if Wise ends up fighting him, because then we could see some badass stuff from him. But I would rather Shiki go to like the big heavy hitter. I don't know. Actually, no. I'm gonna change my position on that, because I was thinking Shiki in the fight's a big gravity, but I think with Mora's like sticky power, the way that he moves around will be cooler for Shiki to go against, because Shiki's biggest thing is how mobile he is. I'm going to change that, because I didn't really think about it in terms of that for the fight. I would prefer if it's Mora and Wise fights Orc. Gaja let fodder like Jet and Troy beat... he let him do that. Yeah, I already know this stuff, ulterior and stuff. Oh, I was not even talking to me. I was like, why are you recapping their backstories to me? I know. Oh, wasn't at me. Never mind. I see Orc versus Jin. I don't think it'll be Jin. If it is Jin, like, he's fighting against those drones right now. He's defending the ship. He doesn't even know what's going on with them. I'm so very upset. Gaja and our apologies. Lucy, worst of all. I mean, he's fine. They've done a lot. Gaja and Lucy interacted. Tartar, Sark. Yeah, they're all friends. Let's see. Where was I? By the way, Kata finally got some respect. Yeah, I was glad about that. Like, geez. So, is it going to be, explained to how he has different elements? Like, he's shown fire. He can breathe fire. He was prepping lightning. And then now he's shown wind. Is it just like he has elemental breaths? And they all do different things? I don't really know. That's really funny because, like, when... I knew a guy that theorized that because they had Kaido do that in a game where he had different elements. And he brought that up to, like, some other One Piece fans. And they all, like, shit on him. They were, like, flaming him because they're like, oh, yeah, what about these other video game character abilities? All these other, and like, blah, blah. And they're, like, talking about, like, oh, at one point in one of the games, Shanks could stop time or something. And they're all just, like, making fun of him. And then it looks like he was right to make this call. And I've always thought about that. since I saw Kaido could use different elements. It just made me laugh. I was like, damn, he got the last laugh, I guess. But yeah, Kaido, my upset with Kaido is like, I don't think these guys should be able to be fighting him the way that they are. Like, I'm okay with the idea of them damaging Kaido, you know, to a degree with the Rio. I just think that he should be way faster than him. Like, they just keep getting, like, big punkish moves. Like, they're fighting him, it's like they're fighting him and he's, like, a big, slow-moving, like, classical-style giant. Like, he's not fast. Like, he's just like, oh, and you're fighting a kaiju, and it's coming in, but to him it looks slow just because how big he is. But he's blitzed, like, 4th gear Luffy, so he definitely isn't slow. Like, I don't know. I don't think they should be able to keep up with his speed at this point. But otherwise, it's like he got nerfed in speed. I don't know. I like that he's getting more serious, though. I want to like Kaido. I went into this arc and the previous arcs liking Kaido. I thought he was cool. His dragon form is like, it's just design-wise. I like Kaido's human form. His dragon form is okay. My money is really on his hybrid form. That's where I'm really hoping Kaido just busts out like big dick energy and starts smacking the shit out of these guys and looks badass, looks like Godzilla. I'm hoping for that. I really want that to be the case. Because I don't like talk negatively about a character like with joy. And to the way that I talk about Kaido. It's like the same thing I do with Ochako in My Hero. Like, I want her to be, like, a very relevant character. I think her design is fine. She's got an okay backstory. But I like her powers, and I'm not a My Hero guy, but I like Deku and I like Bakugo. So, and I'm kind of like Aon Todoroki, but I'm like, Ochako, cool powers. She's got an alright outfit and stuff. She could do stuff. I'm happy that she is set up to do stuff right now. But I don't want to say mean things about her. I'd rather be in a good mood. And that's what I've kind of felt like with Kaido. Big Mom is so far away from the possibility that I'm just like, fuck her. It's a meme character. But I want to like Kaido. So I'm happy Kaido getting up and doing stuff. I'm very happy about that. I got your saying, but that's a problem. Well, the best we're going to get. For what? Oh, it's not me. Kaido had to bleed and try super hard just to cut arms of one samurai. That's kind of the problem to me. Is like, I'm okay with them damaging him. I don't think they should be damaging him to the degree that they've been doing it. Like, if the first damage they done was cutting open part of the wound that Odin made, I would say, okay, yeah, like, it's scarred. It's like sensitive there from when he was slashed deep by Odin years and years ago. But, like, when you have stuff like, what's the dog guy's name? Inurashi or something? Or, I don't know the names of the two minks. But him just, actually, no, it's the cat one, isn't it? The cat's, whichever one has the sword leg. But, like, just kind of, like, small panels stabbing him and, like, doing damage. I don't really like that. I don't like them kind of, like, catching his breath attacks. It just, to me, makes it seem like he isn't the big arc boss. They're already putting damage to him right into it, like, already. That's just my opinion. I'm really hoping that he's going to just go into his hybrid form, and that's going to be, like, where all his big hype is. And he just starts demolishing them. That's what I'm hoping for. I want to like Kaido. Like, I don't want to get to Akainu and be like him being lame. I think he's cool. I like Blackbeard, too. The thing that a lot of people don't I think a lot of people don't really give me credit for is I enjoy One Piece. I'm just not a big fan. It's the same thing with My Hero. I'm not a big fan of them, but I don't hate them. I enjoy them. They're just not my style of series. And I don't want to dislike Kaido. Like, I like Shigaraki. I think he's cool. I don't really care for All For One. Like, I just have opinions on certain aspects of him still. I'm hoping, because that was the way that it was with Shigaraki. I was just like, he's kind of lame. And then we got the villain arc. And he kind of got, like, a position. He got less of development and got bigger as a character. And he's more interesting now. And we haven't really got any backstory for Kaido on top of that. And he's just been getting the shit kicked out of him. So, to me, I'm just like, can this guy can he please start doing stuff? Can we get things from him? And this chapter, it looks like we're going to start getting that. So, I'm pretty happy. How many chapters do you think One Piece has left? I've always assumed One Piece would end on like chapter 1200 or something. That's always to me the number I've kind of guessed. After like the number we're at now, areas that I can see. I know some people are really hopeful for like Elbaf. I've seen some people talk about like going to the moon. I don't care for either of those. The moon I think would be dumb. I actually really want Enel to be left alone the rest of the story, so he gets just have his nice win on the moon and doesn't get fucked with at all. I want him to just have a happy ending. I fully want him to not show up in the story again because he has a good out. He didn't have to come back and deal with a bunch of other bullshit. He's on his moon with his little mole pals. He's good. But when it comes to where was I in my head on this? Like I lost my place. I think it'll be like this arc, and then there'll be the final war. There'll be a giant war arc, and then like a Raftel arc where you get the fallout, the ending of One Piece, and it'll be the Straw Hat Pirates versus either the Blackbeard Pirates or the Red Hair Pirates. That's just my guess. That's the one arc you're talking about, right? Yeah, that's the current spot right now in One Piece. Current Natsu versus Naruto from Shippuden. If it's Naruto, let me think. Not counting, I think Natsu can beat him, not counting that, like, end power-up that he got, that, like, big Sage of 6 paths, like, boost he got at the end. Because Natsu has a means of beating him with Savage Dragonfire, but he is still far away from mastering that, to where it's not going to just fuck up his arms. And Natsu's big power-up that we've seen, like, for way further down, like, his capabilities, he can't do on his own. The Ethereal's Dragon Force we saw he can't do on his own. Like, Dragon Force is still really big for him. But Naruto's, like, the big Sage boost he got at the end with all the new powers he got with it, I would say still comes out on top currently. But I don't think so. I don't think so by the end of 100 Years Quest. Like, Natsu going up the Dragon God level is going to be too much. I think for Naruto. It could change. Like, Naruto just got a new power-up form. Who knows what it's going to be like. It could be absurd. Who knows? The Scabbards are holding their own against the non going on with Kaido, but by the time he does, it's going to be crazy. I want it to be revealed that Kaido's hybrid form is way beyond either other form. I want him to deep dick these guys. Otherwise, the best case scenario, in my opinion, this is just me, I'm not a One Piece fan, I'm just a One Piece casual. I want somehow Kaido to find out about Chopper's Rumble Balls and do a monster point form for Kaido. Like, imagine that. Imagine if Oda can utilize that into the story. And I genuinely think it's weird that the Rumble Balls exist and they're not a factor in the Zoan-centered arc. To me, it's just been weird. 7 more years for One Piece. No, Oda said it was like 4 to 5 years, didn't he? Current knots depending on what... yeah, I already gave my opinion on that. Imagine the Scabbards trying to jump Acnologia. Acnologia swats them with his tail and kills them all. Kinemon being able to do what he's doing to Kaido is kind of like where I'm like, chopping the breath in half. Like they're just kind of making him too weak. That's my problem with Kaido. Kaido is such a hyped person that it's weird that they're doing this. Like, I think that I gave somebody my explanation perfectly. I don't know how loud my chair is. You can probably hear that I leaned upwards because I gotta get serious. It's like the difference between, look at Kaido and look at Acnologia. Both of them hyped out the ass. Both of them have ways to hurt them in general, like from their species. Kaido, you have to have Rio apparently to hurt him. Acnologia, you need dragon slaying magic because he's a dragon. Both of them, you can hurt them with, in general, with these powers. In concept, you can do damage to him, but obviously Acnologia is so powerful, he's way beyond any other Dragon Slayers, and he is magic attribute, so he can eat magic in general. But there are weaknesses to them, because there are weaknesses to devil fruits, and there is a primary weakness to dragon slaying magic. You have sea stone and you have sea stuff in One Piece, like anything related to the sea, and then in Fairy Tail you have, I mean, obviously theoretically the sealing bracelets and stuff, like the sealing stones in Fairy Tail, would work on Acnologia, unless his physical strength, he just ripped through them. But motion sickness. If Kinemon had, like, a sea stone sword, or any of them had sea stone weapons and were damaging Kaido like this, like a sea stone weapon with Ryu in it, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm perfectly fine with that, because that makes sense. If you were exploiting the weakness of the character, that's one thing. And plus, like, you'd have something that weakens them. Because, imagine it like this. When it came to beating Acnologia, they were able to get the damage on him and make it so he was weakened and couldn't fight back. With motion sickness, you know, how it cripples Dragon Slayer wizards. With Kaido, if you had, like, sea stuff hurting him to where it not only was letting you damage him, but it was weakening him in the process, because, like I said, sea stone stuff, I think that would make more sense. I just don't like how I don't think he's being presented at the level he should be. And that's one of the things that started to bother me about Big Mom, but Big Mom is still doing it. And I was like, okay, Big Mom's saying is she's, like, slow and she's dumb, but she's like this big tank that she'll get knocked over, but she's gonna get back up. And I was like, okay, that's her thing. She's just this big, slow-moving, like, calamity walking at you, pissed off. And your options are to run away, die, or hope that you run out the time limit of when she starves to death if she somehow doesn't get any food. But Kaido is depicted as this just big, dominating monster man. And he hasn't really been living up to that. And I haven't liked that. That's what's been bothering me personally about Kaido. And like I said, I'd be perfectly... If next chapter, Kaido just started swatting the shit out of the scabbards, and then a bunch of One Piece fans added me and said, "Ha, we told you," I would say, oh, there you go. It is what it is. I'm happier that I'm wrong. I'd be happier if I was wrong about Kaido's display than I would be right about it. Because right about it's like, okay, well, cool. Now this whole part is ruined. I gotta drink some water. Well, maybe not ruined, but not to what I thought it should have been in terms of just his position. Because he's a Yonko. He should be fine fighting admirals, like multiple admirals. Like I think any of the Yonko should be able to keep up with all three admirals at once. Not like, oh, I think that the three of them combined should be fine going at one of them. And it could be either side that wins. It's like, okay, there's, one big, three small, and it turning into, okay, either side has the chance, but we'll see. You're probably going to root for the bigger guy. Well, I guess you don't know the new, is it Green Bull? Is that the Admiral we haven't seen yet? But, I don't know. That's just what I think. I think all of them should be at a much higher, like, placement. Especially when not only are they all big, but they have, like, really big connections to, like big mysteries in the series, like the Rocks Pirates. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge One Piece guy, so it's not a huge deal to me. I said Alvarez last time. Oh, it's not time. Me. Kinemon can stop Kaido's breath. One Piece fans say he stops. Like, no. No, it would absolutely not even do anything to Acnologia's breath. He would try to chop it, and he'd get annihilated. To be honest, 100 Years Quest should return to weekly. I would love it to return to weekly. It would really just depends on how fast the team that does it right now could draw it. If they could keep up with the weekly pace, I'm sure they would want to make it weekly. I'd be pretty happy with that. I would love to do a weekly Fairy Tail video. Even if we went back to the older kind of style, because 100 Years Quest chapters don't... They don't have a lot of pages that kind of just seem like they're like little tiny content, like, oh yeah, we're just going to have some characters like walking and having dialogue just for the sake of dialogue or something. 100 Years Quest gets pretty to the point most of the time and doesn't fuck around a lot. And I'd be fine if we went back to the older style of Fairy Tail kind of tone if it meant be going weekly. Just because I like some of the extra little bits, and I really enjoy talking about a weekly basis. It's weird to me not talking about it as much as I used to.
Sahito Bono. Oh, that's not at me. Why are you yelling at people? I think another weekly. I think we'll get another 100 Years Quest weekly point again. It just depends on Mishima. Can't wait to see how magical Elantir is. I'm super excited to see what Elantir looks like. Why is there a giant space from AJ Morningstar? Wait, can Lucy with magic boost and Elantir be regular beats regular Earth on Earth? We don't know yet. We don't know anything about the Elantir boost. Or I can't wait to see what, oh, that's not AJ. Why is it, this just, oh, it was blank for me for some reason. This massive amount of blanks, and I scrolled over it, and then it came up. I can't wait to see, that's not at me. Jalal's tried, no, he's not. I really like Jalal. I don't agree with that. Crow is nowhere near Natsu in terms of power. I'd say they're equal in base. I think they're equal up to Fire Dragon King mode Natsu. Okay, let's see. Let's see a power for potential Devil Slayer. Yeah, there's still. I really want to see that from Gray. I think it'll happen when we get to Elantir. Quan versus Rax. We debating Quan? I'll debate you, Quan. Do you want to come in the stream? If you want, Quan, I can call you. You can join in. We'll talk about some stuff. Maybe have some Eden Zero talk. Maybe talk about Black Clover. I'll even talk about One Piece. Angstrom could be either natural, like the Sage of Spectre, like Kagura. Oh, neutral, not natural. Oh yeah, I think he's gonna be kind of like a god, and it's up to his perspective. But like Fairy Tail doesn't give a shit about that because they are their own unit. They are inherently good, but they are an independent squad. Hope it's the weakest Dragon Slayer. I think it's no. I think that he is stronger. I think both Cobra and Wendy are stronger than Sting and Rogue individually. But Sting and Rogue together is where they are a threat. That's where they are way more powerful than regular. It's shown in Sting and Rogue's spinoff in Twin Dragons of Sabretooth. They are actually more powerful when they're in the vicinity of each other. True Cobra and Laxus don't have Dragon Force. Yes, they do. Oh, they don't have legit Dragon Force. The Lacrima-based Dragon Force just isn't that good. It's like a lower degree of Dragon. It just isn't as potent. It doesn't give nearly as big of a boost. They have Dragon Force, but it's just the weaker Lacrima-based ones. If Urza and Jalal have a kid, do you think they still have the new ability, or just both of their magic? I want it to be a combination of both. I want them to have like a sick space sword. Like I just imagine as having like this badass blade that has like starlight behind it, and all of its attacks. It's like a Grand Chariot, but sword style. Well, second gen. Yeah, they have Dragon Force, second gen. What's up, Salem? Salem. How's it going? How are you today? They don't always have it on, but it's something they can do. But second, it's Lacrima-based Dragon Force, what we saw with Sting and Rogue as well, is it just doesn't give that big of a boost. It still gives you an increase in magic and speed and fighting capabilities, but it's not nearly as much as like either artificially induced Dragon Force or legit Dragon Force, like actual Dragon Force. Even the 5th generation Dragon Force is better than the Lacrima based Dragon Force. Lacrima based one is just the weakest. It always has been. Yeah, Mishima loves the number 7. That's just this weird thing for Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail Body is my hero. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, it's not a question. Where was that at? Did somebody bring that up? Oh, My Hero versus Fairy Tail? Fairy Tail Bodies. Like, All Might at best is like a wizard saint. And he's like the peak peak hero in his prime, other than One for All. Like, they were All for One, rather. Like, they're like the peak of their worlds, and they're like wizard saint level. If Natsu holds a grudge against Angstrom, I think he will, because we saw how he reacted to just the curse, but he seems to have kind of like a better opinion on Zeref now. I really want to... I really am hoping that we see Natsu has... that he like reach into his pocket and pull out Zeref's pendant that has the picture of them as children. I'm really hoping that happens, because we don't know what happened to it. It was left where Zeref was with Mavis, but... that just means that it was sitting in the guild after the Alvarez arc. Did Natsu go and get it? Like, what happened to it? I really want to know.
I see the guild fight Georg fight. I could see the guild master Georg fight either Natsu or Guild Arts. I really want it to be Natsu and Guild Arts. I mentioned that. I've mentioned it a couple times. I mentioned it the other day though. I really am hoping that like I've gotten one in Black Clover. I've got one in Fairy Tail. I've had Natsu versus Guild Arts a couple times. I want like a Guild Arts and Natsu team up, and I want to see Yami against Asta. I really want both of those matches one day. Like, I obviously really want, like, a full-out Natsu versus Guild Arts, like, their fight. Like, just that, like, two to three, I'd say at least 3 chapters of just Natsu versus Guild Arts. And, like, a serious fight between them. I'm really hoping for that one day. I think Faris and Celine could possibly be in league with each other. I don't think so. I don't think she knows about him. Let's see, not at me, not at me. Shura from Rivalries is such a badass. They took oh yeah, I love Shura. Shura's really cool. What's the strongest version of Urza that EOS Julia from Raid Master can beat? Probably like Grand Magic Games Urza. Maybe Tartarus Urza, but definitely I'd say Grand Magic Games Urza. Rufus gave Gray a real challenge. Leon is mid-tier, and Gray bodied the entire Thunder Legion. Yeah, that's factual. Gray's not weak. I don't know why anyone would say Gray's weak. Even imply that Gray is weak. My opinion, Leon could beat Rufus. Maybe. That's a big maybe. I don't know if he could. Like, Leon's strong, but like Rufus is axe. And I don't think that Leon's as powerful as Gray. And it's not like Rufus is as powerful he was in the Grand Magic games. He got stronger too. I don't really see Leon and Rufus being that far apart from each other. Not at me. Not to beat Giorno Giovanni with Gold Experience Requiem. Isn't Gold Experience Requiem like a time-based ability? Because it wouldn't work on Natsu. Pure Dragon form is faster, that's why I can always travels. He has flight. I'd say he has the general increase in like in most stats like physical strength. He's got more durability, and then he's got the dragon scales and flight. But I've never thought that there was much of a difference between the two forms, because at that point he is a dragon. That's just a form that he can take. Because when we saw with Irene, there is like an increase in like general aspects to him, but it's not a real body. I think Kaido's dragon form was sized down a couple chapters. It's kind of like Acnologia's first chapters. He was way bigger. When Acnologia showed up on Sirius Island, he was a lot bigger. Leon is the current ace of Lamia scale. I wouldn't put him above Jura. I'm not putting Leon above Jura, no way. Let's see. I bet Usopp's faster than Kaido. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. That's how he ran away from Big Mom. Big Mom sucks. Who's the better villain? Oh, Kaido or Shigaraki? Shigaraki. Kaido looks cooler, but like Kaido, we don't really have anything about Kaido's backstory. He hasn't done anything really cool. The only thing we know about him is he was petty when it came to Odin, and then he lost, and he had to cheap shot him after like taking his son hostage. Shigaraki is way more interesting. Tenko Shimura Kaido. We ever learned Jalal's story for Tower of Heaven? Maybe. I don't really. Again, it's just like the same thing with Lexus' mother. I'd be pretty happy to see that part of the story, but it's not something that I'm too big on. Like, oh man, I need this. It's like I'm fine if like we never really find out too much about Jalal beforehand, because Jalal's story really started in that tower, as far as we know. Oh, we'll see though. I'd love to see some more Jalal stuff. Obviously, I really like Jalal. He's one of my favorite characters in the series. Let's see. What's your thoughts on Naruto's new form? I think it's cool. I really want to know like what it does and what's so dangerous about it that it might kill him. I think it looks neat, at least for what we've seen. Like I said, I really want to know what it does, and it sucks that was this week, so it's gonna be a while until like obviously next month, weeks and weeks from now, finding out what exactly it does. Guilty, not the Dragon Gods. What do you mean? Naruto, vaporizing Zerath is a better feat than anything Naruto's ever done. Yeah, but Naruto has a lot of just general large scale stuff he can do with then, and Natsu can't stay at that level of power. That was something he went into Dragon Force and used up like all of his magic to do. The thing right now that separates Naruto and Natsu is Natsu doesn't have the sustain at this point to do it, because that's still something he can do, but it's not something he can do casually. It's like all in right now. I think by the end of 100 Years Quest, it's going to be a fully different story. Thank you, Deceit Gaming, for a new subscription. Appreciate it. Godzilla's pussy almost died to Bloodman's. No, he did not. Like, what almost killed him was Bloodman's like portal drag. Like, Godzilla was still standing after eating all of those demon particles. Like, he was fine. He's absolutely not a pussy. I could never imagine calling Godzilla a pussy after the fight on Serious Line when he literally took a katana through the palm out his shoulder, gripped it and flexed it and broke it. That was too badass. Natsu can use Dragon Force at will, but doesn't since he obliterated a lot of stronger fighters. Well, Natsu doesn't just jump straight in his strongest form. We know that he's smarter now about how he fights. This got finished with the Crown Tundra. I still need to beat the Elite Four. I had my spot at the Elite Four in Pokemon. Oh my god, how am I blanking on the new games? Sword? Alright, Shield. Pokemon Shield. I haven't beaten the Elite Four still. Still haven't done it. I need to do it at one point. My car beats Natsu's strategy. I don't know what that's to do with anything. 6 pass, Dragon God says, wait, what? No, absolutely not. What is the guilty saying? Do you think Lucida is still Asta's mother? Yes, I do. The only Dragon God was shit on Naruto. That is correct. Asta needs Libe needs Asta. They're gonna be good buddies. I'm looking forward to that. And Zera's time stop working strong opponents like Goku? Yeah, why wouldn't it? It's time stop. It's not applying to the person, it's applying to time. People's power level doesn't have anything to do with it at all. That's why time stop is so good. Like, full out time stop is really good because of that. Let me scroll up. Lost my spot. Hit time stop. Hit doesn't stop time. He skips it. Hey, yeah, hit does not do time stuff directly on time. He's doing it on the individuals. If it's on the individuals, stuff like power levels come into play. If it's on time itself, it doesn't matter because you're stopping time. You're not stopping the individuals. Let's see. Yeah, already comment on that. So luckily some of these have to do with that. And like I just answered. Since Shikira now isn't anywhere close to Draken or other Ascian Saints, he learns some new techniques to see him being at least on par with Ascian Galactica. His new form is the thing right now he needs to focus on. How long can he train to stay in that? And how many techniques can he develop in it? I would love to see him develop some moves. I would love to see just like him sit down and like try and think of like a couple attacks to do while in that. Shiki might have lost, but I think that he would get washed. He absolutely pulverized a weakened version of Joe. I mean, yeah, he won. I think Shura is the ancestor of gravity, Ether Gear. I'm hoping it's not gravity. I'm hoping it's a different type of power. Because if there's multiple of them, I don't want them to all have the same thing. I like fish chips, but I don't like chicken. Why would you like chicken? Yeah, when you get to Shura, I really want to know about this character because it's still a big thing to show to come up in the story. I think it's got a lot of really big character like info on it. Asta post dungeon exploration versus Ruby Rose Star series. Asta's gonna beat the shit out of her. Let's see. You keep scrolling. I'm good on this weekend. And working full-time. Well, I'm glad that things are working out for you. Endeavor is so strong that he can beat his wife. Yeah, he does do that. Well, he did do that. Of course I'm going to respond. It just takes a while because I get behind on stuff. Can't your boy Nod's doing his curses and use his curses in Edalus? He could, but I don't know if he can't really tap into Cytheria stuff at will right now. Not too fuck guild arts in the game. I know, I want in the manga, obviously. Who's stronger, Freed or Rufus? I'd probably go Freed at this point. Because I would say Freed is stronger than Leon. Also, Grant uses Devil Slaying powers Daedalus. Devil Slaying is a curse and magic. There's the possibility he could use aspects of it, but I don't think he could use the full thing. Because it's kind of like how Dragon Slaying is magic, but also has the dragon power aspect to it. That's the same way Graze has with the with Devil Slaying. It's still partially magic, though. I wonder if the real White Mage is going to show up soon. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I think it's Eleftheria. I feel confident in that now, at least at the moment, until we get more information. Probably not the Arc, but maybe in the Gold God. I want to see Viernus too. Scared to think Wendy's future kid will have some potential, will have more potential than even Laxus. Yeah, Wendy is ridiculous at like 15, right at the moment right now. Max, do you think Shanks could beat Kaido? Yeah, I do. I think Shanks would fucking fold him over. Didn't Shura leave the guild to join the council? So that wouldn't. Oh, is it? I might actually be forgetting on that. I thought he left, but he didn't quit. I will look that up. I actually don't remember that. That's something that I've completely not thought about, like just Shura in general. Let me see. That was chapter 4. Was that like 440 or 439? I think when we found out about God Serena and we got to meet like Wolfheim and Hyperion and stuff. Let's see. I think I'm one chapter off. Oh my god, it's at 338? Crap, where was that chapter? Might have been, actually, was it 441? Shit, or 440. Yeah, God Serena, chapter 440. And I gotta look this up really quick. Just because I forget sometimes. On stuff that is not relevant. Because like anything with the Magic Council really kind of just goes past me. I guess not goes past me, but I'm just like, I don't put as much attention to them. Because, yeah, he did, didn't he? Interesting. Just because, like, the Magic Council and the Wizard Saints have never been, like... They've never been a group to be treated well within the series. Like, they've always been kind of dicked over. Like, the only Wizard Saint that really kind of got treated well was Makarov, the first, like, fight against Josei, and Jalal. Once he went and fought Aknog after fighting Zeref, he exhausted his magic. He had a small point to recover, and obviously he had help from, like, Wendy and stuff. Mashima doesn't hate Cobra, come on. Silver isn't a demon, but there are demons that don't use curses. Oh, they can use curses and magic. Rax, when you say Yash, you say Yuha. Well, Yuha Bach. I like saying Yash, though, sometimes. Because people correct me on it. Asta is so powerful, ghost mimics can feel it as seen on the bath. Omake. Yeah, Natsu's busted. He's super strong. We're talking about 100's question. Was it the Spriggan versus Espada? The Spriggan are two hacks. The thing is, like, the Espada have some good, like, they have some good firepower people, obviously, like Okiora and Coyote Start. And they have some good hacks with people like Zomari and Baragon. But the Spriggan are all busted. Like, they can't fight the Spriggan 12. They're too busted. And, like, you take it like their big powerhouse, so you look at Okiora, and then you pull August, and August can do shit that Okiora does casually. Arx can't make a deal with the devil if he is smart. Natsu, wait. I mean, he could, maybe. You're watching Jujutsu Kaisen anime? Yep, I am. Rex, your knowledge of fairy tale lore is fallible. I do like words. 1 second. But I really want to see right now my biggest things. I don't know. I'm trying to think now of what I really want to happen otherwise. I really want to find out more about Diablos, though. My knowledge on fairy tale lore is very strong, though. Sometimes I mess up. I mean, it happens all the time. I'm not a computer. I don't remember everything one time after reading it. You remember stuff reading it multiple times and going through things just repetitively, looking for more things as you go. I think Mushi will have the... I say Squad could turn evil, have traitors with them in the deep snow and rave. I'm hoping not. I like when he... I like when he takes something that you think is going to go down a similar line as a previous plot he's done, but it's just done in a completely different direction. Like, we had Kurenai, And then Kurenai was like kind of like slightly like Urza and Irene at a moment. And it's like, oh no, Kurenai's just a piece of shit. She's like, there's nothing amazing or like big about her. She's just garbage. Not just astral protection. I don't think it's astral protection. I think it's part of his resistance to soul manipulation, because he should have resistances to all of what Zeref could do, considering Zeref made him to be able to beat him. And we already saw that Zeref can stop time, so what is Natsu, unaffected by? Time stop. Let's see. Current Rick versus Sasuke. Gray's more hacks, and he's got, he's a smarter fighter. And he can freeze, ethereal energy, so like, what's Sasuke gonna do? Do you think Mary Jane would make a good guildmaster? No. Mary Jane, I don't think that's Mary Jane's style. I'm currently reading Rave Master. I love the second two main characters. Don't need until chapter 8. Oh, do you mean, oh yeah, because I was thinking for a second, I forgot that the whole portion of, like, when he breaks his sword. I was trying to think of, like, chapter 8, and for some reason I thought further ahead, like, when he goes and, he gets the first Rave Stone and unlocks Silpharion and stuff. I got the moments mixed up for a moment. Ready for Master? I think the next Guildmaster should either be Laxus or Lucy. If Fairy Tail Next Generation happens, who will be the bad guys that surpass the OG? Now, how do you think Hero will have that make sense? Well, I don't think that we would have anybody big for a while. Like, there has to be a lot of time for, like, the next gen to, like, actually get to do stuff. And the older cast would be too powerful for anybody that would be, an opponent at the newer generation's level. So it would probably build into just like up and coming new people, up and coming really powerful characters, maybe finding other like ancient weapons and sources, and it really just depends on what Machine wants to do. We still have a large scale unexplored world, and a history that only goes back up to like 400 or so years. There's still a lot left that they can really do. No, if we fight Ankh Saram, I want Natsu to be the one to fight him. All my characters attack to turn himself into a soul and burn him from the inside. Oh, so he's like Danny Phantom. I don't think he will. He might let the OG characters let them deal with their own villains and maybe occasionally step in. Yeah, that's how I see it kind of going too. Shura probably got some fire ether gear based on Shura, the demon Shura. It could be. Like I said, I want it just to be not gravity. Like, I trust Mishima to have cool powers. I completely trust him to come up with something really badass. I think it'll be something very mobile, because one thing that he's done, I think, to keep up with Shiki is a lot of the characters have had ways of just getting around. Like different ways that they could just stay moving constantly. Because everyone does, not many reviewed their own Fairy Tail. Wait, what is that thing? I think I missed a comment going into that. Do you think Ziggy's the final villain, or is there someone else? I think it'll be Ziggy. For everyone's been Hunter's quest since first God arc. I'm fine with that. He doesn't even like Fairy Tail. I don't know why he's talking about it. Obviously, I'm not a fan of a lot of the big anime YouTubers. I think he's definitely gonna be the main villain. I mean, yeah, I think so too. Eden Zero Shooter is Draken Joe, just like Cobra wearing a white coat. I don't think so. It could be. I think Draken Joe is gonna kind of be like their Laxus. I think the fact that the series has so much time travel stuff, and we haven't gotten Draken Joe's like full backstory, we only got bits of it. I think at some point we're gonna meet a younger Draken Joe, like all chronophaged or something, and that will kind of like again fit more into like the Laxus role. I don't think Shuda is gonna be Draken Joe, or I don't think Draken Joe is gonna kind of be like the Shooter or Cobra, because Shuda and Cobra don't even have the same positions. Like their characters, like the only thing that was even the same for them is at one point, they had the Arasion kind of title to them, Arasion 6 and Arasion 6. But like their backstories, their personalities, their abilities, nothing else of theirs really comes together. Not sure if it's answered already, but between our say Scream more Heart, Tartaros, Spring Soul, which is your favorite? Tartaros. Oh, I love Tartarus. It has Marred Gear. Unless you counted Zareth with the Spriggan, I'm gonna go with Marred Gear. Like, Tartarus, I love Tartarus as a guild. If I got to be in one guild in the series, if I could just teleport in the series, it's between the Fairy Tail Guild and Tartarus. I really like the Tartarus Guild. Think they'll ever get an anime trailer for Eden Zero before the end of the year? We might get something before the end of the year because it's supposed to come out in April, I think. So I could see a trailer coming out either sometime in December or early January. And just real quick, once again, just because it's like an hour and a half or something, I really appreciate it if you would thumbs up the stream, befriend the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't, and if you feel like it, if you think I've earned any of your, any donations, I appreciate them. If not, that's fine. Celine versus Kaguya. I mean, what's Kaguya gonna do to Celine? Nothing. Tartarus is the best completed arc. I do agree. So in Rave Master is Racion 6. It's Racion 6, Racion 6, Racion 6 Galactica, Racion 6 Interstellar. Yeah, there's some comments. I don't want to miss them. Run a gauntlet on Fairy Tail villains. They don't get very far. Because, like, the highest, their best person was Haja, and Haja had high magic stamina, but, like, he wouldn't even beat Zero. Bad cough. I don't even think they would beat the Racion 6 in Nirvana. Like, Zero is just too powerful for them. And he has the hacks to put any of them down. It's not at me. Tartarus Marred Gear character is too nice. I really like Marred Gear. Tartarus is great. Shura and Cobra got the OS and design. I mean, the only thing really similar about their design is their hair. Like, Cobra has had so many different outfits. Shura mostly had two. He had his original one, and then he had kind of like the better outfit he got when he got the scars and stuff, and got his metallic or his metal arm. I think Chronophage is going to oppose Mother in some way. I don't think so. I think the Chronophages are nothing to her. I think she's going to be just fine. I hope we get a space fleet or war between Nero's forces and Justice. I'm hoping so too. I want to see. I really want to see what Justice can do. Saw someone say the end of series Tanjiro could beat Kurnosa. Absolutely not. Tanjiro ain't shit. Dragon Joe looks more like Azuma. The only thing, again, sort of their hair, but more in like the way that Mishima draws the pattern on it, like the way he colors it. Other than that, they don't look similar at all. I don't know what that's talking about. Where each generation has their own villains and struggles which aren't stronger. It really just depends. I mean, it doesn't matter really if it's like, oh, they have to get stronger. It really just goes down to like, what are the villains they're facing? What's happening? How does it make sense? If it makes sense, it makes sense. As long as it ties into what's going on, that's perfectly fine. No, there's a Kagura in Fairy Tail, not Kaguya. And then, obviously Ikaruga, but not the same. What are your thoughts on Irene taking Celine's body? I don't want that. That'd be weird. That'd be like switching into like some Kaguya like secret villain. I want Celine to be Celine. I want to see more aliens racing Year Zero. Me too. I really want to see some aliens. Like, I want there to be at least one alien race that's like a big deal. Google Shura's design. I know who Shura is. No, Shura's hair is red. Cobra's is like a maroon color. And like, look at like Shura is a like pretty light skinned guy. Cobra's like Eric. Eric's is like a dark kind of like almost tribal like skin color. Obviously the way that they generally kind of like are. The way that they fight, they like really like they have the hair and they have the Racion 6, but like what about other versions of Cobra? Like his different designs, his robe design, his like weird cool like Japanese snake design, his original design. So in charge of those voice happies is doing easy habits. You think? I'm hoping that they I'm hoping that Urza and Jalal's voice actors do LC and Justice. I do. What are the most hyped thing to see in the Eden Zero anime? I really want to see like just the kind of like space backgrounds. I really want to see just some like really cool space visuals. Obviously, the Doppelganger as Elsie and Justice have similar designs, so doubtful. I think they'll have this. I don't think they'll have it. I want there too. Let's see. I'm almost caught up. Can you imagine a Palpatine type villain? I'm hoping so. Like, I want there to be cool villains, like big space emperors, and we have that potential with Narrow. Hope Justice does not have light space meteor based ether gear. I'm hoping that it's weapons. I'm hoping he summons like big cannons that have the names of like spells that that Jalal and Sieg and like Genesis did. I'm hoping that's gonna be his style. I don't want it to be the same thing, but I want it to kind of relate some way into theirs, but done in a different way. Done his own style. Now to destroy a planet. Probably not an AoE. I mean, it depends on which version of Natsu too. I think that the version we saw, Fight Mercephobia, has the potential to completely incinerate the surface of the planet. Yes, to destroy the world. I think Shiki is Mother's son. Oh no, she would have just he would have just been reforged at Mother because she can recreate people. I think we'll have a Jalal great team up. That'd be unexpected, but I'd like that a lot, obviously. Since Sieg and Jalal have similar magic and Genesis, I imagine Justice will have something like Meteor as well. I'm hoping his abilities, like his ether gear, references them in some way, some of these abilities, but I don't want it to just be the same. I don't want it just to be like, oh yeah, I know he does the hand sign, does Grand Chariot or something. I want him to be like, he does Grand Chariot and then summons like this giant, like what would look like an ion cannon or something crazy, and it just like launches. You see this massive cannon shot. Something like that. Like, he's like, oh yeah, it's something that would go on like a spaceship he can summon, like any weapon. So he would kind of have like a version of Urza's Requip, but for space cannons, but in reference to his style. Come on. You make him over 3 minutes to post some links for you. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, Lord Hendrickson. Just at me on Twitter. I don't even know what you're talking about. I gotta scroll up because I'm trying to figure out what he said earlier. I'm gonna find it. Hang on. Oh, listen. I didn't say, oh, there's nothing about them that's similar. It's silly to think they're the same character. They don't look exactly the same. This is a dumb thing to argue about, so I honestly don't care enough to continue beyond this. Well, 6 Cobra is underrated. Cobra is underrated. I agree. I like Cobra. Do you feel about Asta implementing Yami's, Mars' Kyoto's, and Fonzo's fighting styles? It's good. It shows his growth. I hope one of the Rastion Sace Near Zero is of an alien race. I mean, we already saw that one dude, but I think he's gonna be a cyborg. Dude, I don't really care though, Lord Hendrickson, is the thing. Like, you're not gonna get me to go like, I've been revealed. That's like some new truth. No, I don't care. It's like, cool. They have some aspects of their design that's similar, but they're very different in literally every single other way. How would Gildart show up in the 100 years? I mean, it depends on how other characters, like we know that Diablos is gonna get there. How does Diablos get there? Maybe that'll go into like how Sting and Rogue or like someone like Gildarts gets there. Okay, let's see. I've caught up with the chat. I've caught up what's going on. I'm not behind anymore. I'm going to now be able to answer stuff in real time without being, way behind everything else. So, okay, let's just start talking about stuff right now. Talking about kind of right. So right now, I really want to see. I think primarily I want to know how Asta in his head plans to win. I want to get Celine information. I want to find out who Shura is. And I want Kugisaki to survive. I'm very upset about that. I'm very upset with like just the kind of like position she's been at. Just got screwed over. I am happy that I've caught up with the chat. This might be a good spot to finally end it. I don't know. Should I keep going or should I end it? What do you have the diameter Fiore at? East to west is like 6,520 kilometers. What's going to happen after Asta defeats Libe? I think they're going to become like allies. If Lucy isn't Elantir and therefore has a magical boost, she can cheat at Urza, who is an Earthland. We have to know how much the boost is. We have to see it first. We haven't gotten to Elantir yet. We don't know, like, what they're going to be like with Elantir levels of magic. Like, are they going to, like, are we going to see, like, 10 times boost, 50 times boost? Who knows? Keep going for 20 minutes? Okay, I'll keep going for a little bit longer. Like, the thing about Elantir, like, we know that they're going to be stronger being in there. But by how much? Like, what is it going to be like for them for, you know, are they going to have just 10 times boost, 50 times boost? It's all right now in a state of patience, essentially. You just have to wait and figure out what is, we have to just figure out, essentially, how much to what degree. And that's not going to be until we actually go there. And that won't be probably for either another chapter and a half to 2 chapters, is my guess. I don't think we'll be heading to there until at least halfway into the next chapter, if not at the end of the chapter. And then 69, we might see, at chapter 69, we might see what it's like in Elantir. Now, Goku giving more of those Zenzu Bean was stupid. A new power coming for Happy. I just want to see Happy get faster and faster. Because Happy's speed has always shown to be very, very, very much like his thing. So if he could get some form of wing upgrade, like maybe he just gets like a energy around him that he likes. Like imagine like if he just left some cool kind of like trail of magic that gave off like a Happy vibe. Kind of like if it kind of like was like the, like I'm just imagining some form of kind of like glittery kind of like way to like add to like the fact he's a cute little blue talking cat. But at the same time, I think it would add that kind of like the magical aspect to him. Blue versus Happy. Blue can't really fight though. He's like he's durable enough to withstand an overdrive, but he's just like he can't really hurt anybody except poke him with his nose. Our new series Jump, which started since the summer, which when you suggest Phantom Seer. I think that's the only like new in the last couple months or last couple weeks series that I've really been hyped about. I would pair Jin as sister and Laguna with Witch. That's a really weird pair up. Since Elsie has homage to Natsu and Gray on her crew, do you think they'll also get a Laxus type character? I'm hoping so. Either I actually like I'd be perfectly fine though if kind of that like older brother, almost like former bad guy role, like I said, went to Draken Joe. I want to see Draken Joe show up again. Like I said, he's so cool. Dragon Ball Super manga has been funky. I want to see Irene's new body. I think everybody does. I think everybody really likes. I think Irene, for the most part, is very liked, and people are waiting for her to come back and do some stuff. And I think the cool stuff with her and Wendy, it's such a hype build-up. Going into this arc, we'll see though. Maybe they'll be strong enough to do like a lot of extra cool, crazy shit and give her a new body in Elantir. I hope Happy get a human form. I don't know how it would really play into it, though, is the thing. Lucida being Asta's mom just doesn't sit right with me. Why would Lucifero not contacted Dante 16 years ago? Since we see... Well, the thing is, though, that... You think there's somebody that coincidentally looks like Asta that put a basket on a doorstep when, like, talking about, like, a child? Do you honestly think that's a coincidence? Always afraid of reading a Jump series. Yeah, well, that's why once they survive past a certain point, then it's probably like time to read them. If like I can get that upset. Phantom series has been doing really good from what I've seen, though. People seem to really like it. Can I have spirits to help in Edalus? I would be curious to know if the spirits could do like, because we've seen them pull people into other places, like open portals themselves. Would they be able to do it to Edalus? Curious on what Elsie's thoughts on Shiki beating Draken are, since Draken was a Galactica member like she is. I think she probably expected it, honestly, with like his connections, like who he's tied to, and everything. And she already obviously saw some of his power. Like I feel like she would just kind of be like impressive. Like I don't think she'd be like flabbergasted. Sister Lily versus Sister Ivory. I mean, Sister Ivory. What does Sister Lily can do? She's not gonna do anything. Rax, have you read Mission Yakuza? Now, I've read a couple chapters, actually. I remember at the last time you asked, I was like, I should read a couple chapters tonight, just so the next time, in case I forget, I can at least say I read a couple. I'm like at chapter like 6 or something, or 7. What do you think about Sammy's theory videos? Sammy goes for like ones that are, I always make fun of him, because he's got like these like silly clickbait ones all the time. They're just so ridiculous. Wait, Ignia. Yeah, let me scroll up. Some about Ignia talk. I'm always game for Ignia talk. Which Dragon God design is the best so far? I like Ignia. Like, I do really like Ignia. I think he's cool. And I mentioned before talking about somebody because they're talking about like how many extra spikes and like additional components he's got onto him. And I think that's one of the things that I think is really neat about him is he's like Igniel's looks like he's in his early 20s, like rebellious son. So he just comes off as like some early 90s looking like way more aggressive with like spikes and tattoos and stuff. Looking dragon for Igniel. I always like that about him. I was a little tricked before. I'm a little skeptical. Oh, Tabata has been tricked us a little bit. You ever read Najima? I've read Najima in this, and I've read Yuki Holder. I'm not caught up on Yuki Holder though. What are your thoughts on if Celine went down in a dumb way, like how Irene... So August and Irene going down, again, I was perfectly fine with. The issues, not perfectly fine with. I was fine with Irene's. I didn't like how fast she went down in terms of, like, she was in her dragon form for all of, like, a minute. And then August, I think August was very abrupt. I thought the reasoning for both of them was fine. Like, August himself said what his distractions would be and what his weakness would be, and it made no sense in Ursa's backstory if Irene didn't care about her at all, because then how would she have gotten a continent away at Rosemary if Irene apparently just wanted to, kill her? I don't think so. So, I think it only makes sense that she cared about her somewhat, and we know that she was super crazy. I don't think Celine will be an issue. In terms of like her defeat, I don't think that's the style that like any of these are going to be going by. Not as more of a like way more character tied down defeat, but more of like the big quest, like the big action of this entire story. I'm not saying Wise can beat him, but if Wise touched Wall Fractal, tried to dissummon it would work. I think it would be too much for him to do. I think there's just too much to Wall. He might be able to mess with him, but also I think Wall could just readjust himself and refix himself. I think he's a Demon King. He's got his notoriety. Yeah, he's a big deal. You think Ziggy is one of the... Oh, that's probably what this is a response to. I thought I ended up going down Rosamy. I thought they were good. I think that it was just too short. I think each of those should have been like a chapter longer for both of those fights. I think there should have been a lot more Celine or Irene in her dragon form, and I just think August was very abrupt, and we should have got like some parts of him thinking, and then we see that part where he's like fading away and decaying from magic. There's the knots are the only fairies to beat a dragon. Oh, they're really the big deals. Oh no, if you count Irene for Urza, then you have to give that to Wendy too. It's not power of friendship, it's more like power of will. It's all dependent on the scene. A lot of people just don't pay attention and miss stuff. Strength of honestly should have won the war, but of course... this is what it's... But of course, Mishima's thing for power of friendship got in the way, especially with Ethnology and Zeref. No, it isn't, and I'll tell you why. Zeref lost to a power that Natsu already had. Natsu was also designed to beat Zeref. Natsu's Savage Dragonfire was just an upgraded version of Natsu's Emotional Flame that we got back in the Lullaby arc. We already know that the temperature and potency of Natsu's flame is linked to his emotional state. Well, Ethnologia, they exploited his weakness. We know what Dragon Slayer's weakness have been since the start of the series. It just showed them being smart. Just because you don't pay attention doesn't make it bad writing, dude. Let's see. How would Gon and Clover fare against Prime All Might? They would lose. Is Celine being beaten by Chapter 100? No, I don't think so. I think this arc will be longer than Drasil. I could see something big happening at Chapter 100, but I don't think they're going to beat her by then. That'd be like saying, are they going to beat... will they beat Alderaan for Chapter 50, like when they're at Chapter 35 or something? It's like, I don't think so. I don't think it's enough time. It's like, by the time we really get into, like, Celine stuff, it's going to be, like, Chapter 70 something. I don't think they're going to cram it within 30 chapters, because this is a big arc going into it. And we have to find out a lot about this world, and Celine should have, like, a big unit to like fight everybody. We should see that she has minions and forces, like, from this other realm. Aryan was forced out of dragon form. She was done for. Yeah, I just didn't like how short she was in her dragon form. That has always been my complaint about that fight. Like, if I get to change one thing in there, I would make that fight longer while she's in her dragon form. Just because it was like the first time we really got to see like a unrestricted dragon, and a high level one at that. Because Acnologia never like showed up to fight too seriously. He was always messing around. When we know that from Zareth confronting him right before or right after like the Alvarez not Alvarez, or right before the Alvarez battle. I was gonna say Avatar, right after the little scuffle with Avatar. That Acnologia had never fought seriously. He had never gone all out. Even against Igneel, he had never gone all out. And then, like, Zirconian stuff, we didn't get to see any, like, big dragons really go into, like, a high place. Especially if it's the mother of dragon slayers, and we barely got to see that dragon form and her dragon abilities. That was just, to me, the thing that was always, like, too short. I think that once she gets a body back and she can start doing stuff again, I think it'll really make up for that for her character. Do you think that 4 Dark Stars currently like wizards on the level of Ratzius Galactica? I think so, yeah. I think they're all going to be about that level, so he's going to have his own unit plus himself. Yami versus All Might, Guild Arts versus All Might. Guild Arts beats All Might, Yami beats All Might. Both of them, easily. Let's see, where was I? Here we go. Rax, do you think that Noelle still possibly has Undine? I still think it's possible. I really want to get to that so we can find out what the situation is on Undine, just because it's either that or she unlocked a new spell at the end of the fight. Like, there was definitely something going on with her grimoire. People think Irene is weak because she looked like she struggled to fight with Wendy and Urza. She didn't struggle. I mean, they were able to keep up with her, but, like, the second she started getting serious, she was overpowering the hell out of them. Urza, she would have killed Urza if it wasn't for, like, obviously the fact that it tied in her backstory. You know, she had a moment of clarity and decided to kill herself before she ended up killing her daughter. I think if that didn't happen, she could have just killed Urza and Wendy right there. Like, Urza had a big slash enhanced with dragon slaying magic, enhanced by, like, the force and explosion of the meteor. And she was able to force her out of her form. She was able to use somebody else's attack to make her own stronger, and had dragon slaying magic attached to it. Like, Irene definitely wasn't a pushover. Irene was a big deal. Why would you give Moro a Senzu beat? He's an idiot. Ship Toten Yuko. I'm not shipping anybody. I don't want to go into the shipping for Yuki Holder. You think Whiteout would work on August Irene? Yes. Absolutely. If it can work on a dragon god, it can work on them. Who is the strongest dragon slayer in base? No mods. In base, probably Laxus. Julius versus Gojo. Again, that's a really difficult fight because both of them can one-shot, but at the same time, both of them are going to have so much trouble hitting the other. So I think it really comes down to Julius, just because Julius not only can get him with, like, if he can land his general kind of, like, time accelerating spells, but he also has the chronostasis So if he can get it and lock him in place, Infinity's not going to matter because it's not needing to hit him. It's locking everything in the targeted zone in a moment of time. So I can see it going to Julius more often than I can with Satoru. Dragon Gods are much more powerful than the Otsutsuki. That's not even remotely close. The Otsutsuki cannot fuck with the Dragon Gods. Stop. Guillotine likes to downplay Fairy Tail all the times when he shows up. I don't know why. I do really wish we got a Dragon Breath attack from Alderaan. That's something that, like, I always get salty with about Mishima if he doesn't have, like, a Dragon Slayer or a Dragon do it. It's like, why can't we just have it? What's the problem? What's the issue with, like, just having, having a character do a big breath attack? It's not something you really have to go far out of your way in order to achieve. It shouldn't be that hard. Like, they could just add 2 pages. It's just literally just big breath attack. I don't know. Are you guys gonna order a PS5? I already pre-ordered one. I pre-ordered one a while ago. I got lucky. I'm not going into some of the big power scaling stuff. I don't really feel like it right now. Yeah, I don't want to... I don't really want to go into power scaling stuff. Wait, what? Gojo versus... Oh, Marlon Hollow? Like, that's not fair. Like, Marlon Hollow... He specifically counters Satoru. That's not really fair for Satoru. He specifically counters spatial mages. Or spatial abilities. Like, you can't use spatial abilities around him. Urza vs. Irene was the worst fight in the final arc. No, it wasn't. The fight was fine. I think it just ended too abruptly. Or, sorry, no, that's August. I think Irene should have been in her form longer. That's the only problem I had with that fight. I thought everything else was fine. She didn't win with plot armor. If you paid attention to what was going on, if you go into a fight and there's an obvious kind of like, how does this part make sense? And you have to think about like, well, what happened previously? Think about the fight with Leo versus Caprico. I was talking about this fight recently with somebody. Going into that fight, you knew there had to be something up with Caprico's backstory that he's even in this position. Because not only is he with the Dark Guild, he was inside of, he was in Earthland. He was with the same realm as the humans outside the Celestial Spirit Realm for 20 years. So, that was already something, like, very suspicious. And we found out later the stuff with Zoldyar and whatnot. When it comes to Irene, we know that from Irene's backstories, there had to be something missing. And something that we didn't really know about, because it didn't add up. We knew that she went crazy, and she wanted to get rid of Urza, but then how did Urza end up a continent away at Rosemary if she didn't care about her at all? That's the thing people forget. You have to remember the characters' backstories. So it's like, oh, well, 100% that makes sense. Knowing stuff that already exists in the series. If you don't pay attention, you miss stuff, then stuff like that won't make sense. That's why I always tell people they have to pay attention. Am I going to get Cyberpunk? I might. I would go just stack up against top tiers in Fairy Tail. He'd be like somewhere around Wizard Saint. I would probably give him like upper Wizard Saint level, but he definitely not Spriggan tier. Urza always... Wait, what? Who would wear the pants? Urza around Jalal is very, like, old-style feminine. So, obviously, Jalal would be, like, in charge of that relationship. Like, Urza, that's one of the things I really like about her, is I like how kind of very, like, base human kind of emotion she has when it comes to Jalal. She acts way more kind of just like an older-style person. And then you see her outside of that, and, you know, as badass as Urza is. Shiki versus Blue Note. Blue Note right now, obviously. Shiki will probably be more powerful than him, though, in the long run. But anyway, I am going to end the stream. I'm going to call it good. I hope you guys all had a nice time. Only about 2 hours this week. I didn't really want to do, like, a super long one this week. But I felt like coming in and just coming in to hang out for a little bit. But anyway, other than that though, I'm thinking about doing a little bit of these. I'm thinking about doing these later streams. Like this one, I didn't start till like a bit in the evening. I'll probably do it a little bit earlier from this one for now on, but I'm gonna do them a little bit later. So probably like 4 p.m. Pacific time is my new plan. It's a little bit later, like not too much. Like usually I do it from somewhere between like 1:30 to like 2:30, but I'm gonna do this 4 o'clock one. I think it gives me more time to kind of get prepared and get kind of do stuff on Saturday, and then anything after I do it, it's already gonna be like I'm planning on just kind of like cleaning out my fridge and stuff tonight for the rest of the night. Maybe we'll like watch a movie. But yeah, you guys have a good night. I will talk to you guys later, and chapters tomorrow, Shonen Jump stuff tomorrow. So look forward to that.